What is going on, guys? This is episode number 18 of the Going for Two podcast with Jansen and Hunter. I am your host, Hunter Waldrop, and this is my best friend and co-host, Jansen Jasperson. Jansen, how we doing today, brother?
Great as always, brother. Excited for championship week. Had a great time in Georgia this past weekend. Thank you for you and your dad for bringing me out.
Oh,
It's good
yeah.
to see everybody. Good to come up there again, and it's always good to see the dogs beat the piss out of the Yellow Jackets. So
That's right. That's
that was
right.
it was a great time, and now I'm ready for this week.
We
Yeah,
definitely enjoyed having you, man. That was a blast. I'm glad we got together. Anybody that follows us on Twitter will see the new little banner we got back there, a picture of the two of us. I mean, that's a memory we'll always have. Wish you
for
weren't
sure.
12 hours away, but glad we got it done, man. And we'll be seeing each other here soon, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
yeah, it was a crazy week of football, man. Little few unexpected things. We'll get to that later, and then we also have championship week preview, man. I can't not
What we've all
believe,
been waiting for.
man, we are done with the regular season. We're done. We're going on to the postseason, and it is now time to get her rolling, man. This is where champions are made, literally. So
Exactly.
let's hop right on into it.
You're either elite or you're not. So
That's right.
get on into it. Well, first and foremost, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're trying to hit 50 subscribers by the end of the year. We are actually at 49 right now, so we are very close to hitting our target. And once you subscribe, there'll be an option for you to turn on our notifications. Hit that bell and turn on the notifications, and you'll get an alert on your phone or your computer or your iPad, wherever you're subscribed or logged into YouTube on. That will tell you whenever we drop our newest episode. And follow us on Twitter at going_for2. Hunter and I get on there, tweet about games that we've talked about on the podcast, and talk about games that we're watching on Saturday. And yeah, so give us a follow on Twitter and a subscription on YouTube, and it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we're very close. One away from 50, man. I cannot appreciate y'all enough. This means a lot, and we're just so close. Let's get her done. One more. Take your mama's phone and hit the sub button for me. Come on now.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, get
This is
yeah. Get you some of that, Ohio State. I think Jade I can say in confidence for about this past 5 to 6 weeks. I think ever since Ohio State played Northwestern, we've been saying that Michigan was going to beat you.
yes,
Now
we have.
I'll be the first to say, I'll step up and say, I was skeptical. I was very skeptical with Blake Corum out and the way Michigan played the 2 weeks prior to playing Ohio State, how it was all going to pan out. And I was a little skeptical. I ended up, changing my mind on the show last week and having Michigan win outright. But yeah, we knew at the end of the day that Michigan had the line of scrimmage that was more tough, and they smelt blood going into that locker room, and they took full advantage of it.
Yes, they did. I mean, I was shocked by this game. I didn't get much time to watch. Well, you and I didn't get much time to watch this game other than after the Georgia game. But I went back and watched the highlights. People have said all year JJ McCarthy can't throw a deep ball. And if you still don't think that, you need to go back and watch these highlights because he looked like freaking Justin Herbert out there throwing deep balls. It was dime after dime. He was cooking all game. And the freaking wide receiver core, I mean, they stepped up when they needed to, having Blake Corum out. And that the thing about Michigan is, and we talked about it this weekend, is their offensive line is so good. Edwards, he looked like Blake Corum out there this weekend. He was just turning on the burners after play after play after play, and I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked on how much they beat them by. Is what I'm shocked about. And man, shout out to Michigan. Ohio State, you were my pick at the beginning of the year to win it all, and I don't see you're not gonna do it. So
Yeah. Man, this is just 2021 all over again. I mean, it's essentially the same score, just a few points differentiated. At the end of the day, man, Michigan is more mentally and physically tough. They wanted it more. and they went into Ohio State's building, planted that big M flag right there in the middle of that O, and took home the win. Some stats I just want to rattle off. So I think this game came down to explosive plays.
Oh, for sure.
And Ohio State didn't necessarily answer with explosive plays like we have seen them do in years past. And Michigan on 5 plays. I know me and you were listening to this on the way to the airport when I was dropping you off. 5 plays, 385 yards. I mean, that is just insane. But, I mean, Ohio State, I will say the original thought process wasn't necessarily bad because they were putting 7, 8 men sometimes in the box and we're just bringing everybody. And they were daring J.J. McCarthy to throw because on tape you haven't seen him be able to throw, and it's just been Corum, and a little bit of Edwards. And they threw 7 or 8 in the box. They gave J.J. McCarthy a chance, and he made him pay 3 or 4 times. And he put, he threw some good balls. I mean, some of them, the receiver was wide open, so I got to give him some credit there. But, I mean, he still proved that Michigan proved that they can beat you in multiple ways, which is very scary. When a team can prove that they can beat you in multiple ways throughout the season, that's something to be scared of. And, I mean, there's only 3 teams this year that have shown me that they can do it consistently, and that is the 3 undefeateds, Georgia, Michigan, and TCU. So that's why they're undefeated. And as far as Michigan goes, man, like, y'all earned it. Y'all have finally ended the drought. 7 years up until last year before they beat Ohio State. So congratulations to them. Back-to-back years go into Columbus, into the shoe, get the win convincingly. You're now ranked number 2. And Jim Harbaugh has built up a great program over there, and I think he's built it the right way as far as being physical and mentally tough in the trenches. And as far as Ohio State goes, well, you are now Michigan's little brother.
Yes.
If you would have won, I would have kind of let it slide, 8 wins over the past 9 years, whatever. But now you've lost 2 in a row. You lost one in your own building, and Michigan has now caught up to you. Now, people saying that Ryan Day should be on the hot seat, I disagree with. I think he's only lost like 3 or 4 games as a head coach. I think that's a little outrageous. Now, maybe next year if they lose to Michigan again.
But here's the thing. Like, I think Ryan Day is on the hot seat because you have 2 jobs at Ohio State. It's not to win all your games. Your job is to beat Michigan and to win the Big 12 or win the Big 10. And he hasn't done that in the last 2 seasons. And
I believe that take has become so outlandish because here's the thing. When Urban Meyer was the coach at Ohio State, Michigan was in a downward spiral. They did not – I think they only had like maybe one 10-win season the years that Urban Meyer was there. They just weren't as good of a program. Yeah. And now they've caught up, and they're just as good. Well, obviously they're better than Ohio State, but they're not talent-wise. They're not as good as Ohio State according to rankings and recruiting and all that. But obviously they are better than Ohio State. They proved it 2 years in a row. But I don't think that's a fair comparison to compare Urban Meyer to Ryan Day because Michigan only had 1 good season under Jim Harbaugh. That was the year they had Jabril Peppers, and they lost in Ohio State. But besides that, they was nothing good. I mean, they had 1 good year under Brady Hoke when Denard Robinson was there, quarterback. But, I don't know. Michigan's caught up. They're a better team now. I'm not saying that it's okay to lose to Michigan. Obviously, it's not. It's not good to lose to your rival in your own building. But I just think the take's a little outlandish right now. If it happens again or for the next year or 2 years or whatever, then okay, I can see where you're coming from. But
that's my thing.
I think it's just taken a little too far at this point in time.
I get that, and he may not be on the hot seat that Jimbo's on, but if this happens again next year and he doesn't beat Michigan and win the Big 10 next year, he might be in the same spot that Jimbo is this year.
If I can just go ahead and make my preseason prediction, Michigan's winning the Big 10 again next year. So that's my prediction. And that's a 1 year away hot take.
That is a hot take. And I think because I haven't even looked into next season.
I haven't either. I just know Ohio State ain't bringing nothing back. I think Penn State probably give them a run for their money too.
True.
Penn State has only lost 2 games this year. Penn State has only lost 2 games this year, one to the number 5 ranked team and one to the number 2 ranked team. One was on the road.
Yep.
Penn State's actually a pretty solid team when you're looking at it from a grand spectrum. They're now ranked 8th.
Like, if you go back and watch that Ohio State-Penn State game, Penn State played them tough the entire game until, like, garbage time.
Yeah.
But
we'll see. I don't know.
We'll
just
see.
something to look at. But as far as these two programs go, Michigan clinched the Big Ten East. They go on to Indianapolis
Keep on balling,
this week.
Big Blue. Keep on doing
they
your
go
thing,
on
man.
to Indianapolis to take on the Purdue Boilermakers. We'll talk about that a little bit. And Ohio State, you'll be sitting on your couches and praying for a USC loss. So it's never good when your fate lies in the hand of another team's game. So we'll see where that leads. But yeah, man, that's about all I have to say on this. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
All I gotta say is, Michigan, keep doing your thing, because I love when the Dogs beat the crap out of you in the playoffs. So I love it. So might be a little more challenging this year, but we can talk about that once we talk about the playoff. But let's dive into the rest of the games from this week.
Okay, so we did the whole, we talked about 10 different games last week. We're not going to go into depth about all of these. We have too many conference championship, too much meaningful games to talk about ahead. So I'm just going to run through these. If you wanted to add anything, you can just cut me off, okay?
I got you.
But until you want to say something, I'm just going to run through them, okay?
All right.
All right, 10th ranked Tennessee with Joe Milton, no Hendon Hooker, and the pour down rain in Nashville. Shutout Vandy 56-0 with, I think there was like 6 rushing touchdowns. They ran it up and down that field. Good win, bounce back win for the Vols. Florida State, Florida might have been one of the games of the weekend as far as excitement wise. These points back and forth. Jordan Travis is a dog. Mike Norvell's got the Noles playing well, and then they come out with a 1 touchdown victory. Upset you didn't cover 9.5 though. That hurt. South Carolina. I'll let you talk about this one because you picked the Cox to win outright last week.
The thing with the reason why I picked them is because they just came off that big win against Tennessee. They were obviously rolling because they scored 63 points. Like Spencer Rattler, I feel like he's the kind of guy that if he kind of gets a little confidence to him, he can produce well. And I think he was on his high horse after he beat Tennessee, and he came to this game thinking, okay, if I beat Tennessee, why can't I beat Clemson? Because Tennessee would beat Clemson 9 times out of 10. So with Hendon Hooker. But like you and I have talked about all year, Clemson has been up and down, and this was the spot where I thought, okay, yeah, Clemson's been playing pretty good ball. Time for him to lose. So that's why I picked South Carolina, and shout out the Tigers for rushing your own field after you get lost.
That's embarrassing. That might be the most embarrassing tradition I've ever seen. I understand that Clemson, which is already stupid.
Like, what do you want to do? Go up to Dabo and tell him, oh, good game. Like, what?
They already rushed the field after every home win. Like, that's already stupid enough because half the teams you play are probably below 500 considering they're in the ACC. I don't know all of them by, heart, but they're not. Most of them are not good. The ACC is terrible, and we'll get to that championship game here in a little bit. Clemson still is somehow playing in it, but if I had to choose today, I'd much rather see Florida State play Duke this week than Clemson play North Carolina. But
I agree.
Oh, well. So DJU, 9 of 29 or 8 of 29, 99 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Not very good, if I do say so myself. A lot of people are saying it's all on him, which I do understand, and I don't think that's an outlandish take at all. But I've seen him play good. Like, I've seen it, and we've all seen it. He's had plenty of spurts this year, and especially going back to the COVID year, 2020.
I don't know if I would blame him as much as I would blame Dabo.
I blame Dabo, and I blame Brandon Streeter. He's unqualified to be the offensive coordinator of that team. But Dabo was too stubborn to go out and hire anybody from outside the program because he doesn't believe in it. Same thing with recruiting. He doesn't believe in the transfer portal. He's like, well, if you're not committed to Clemson out of high school, we don't want you here. And that's just stubborn. And you'll never be able to compete in the next generation of college football with that kind of mindset. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox real quick. But I think DJ will end up he'll enter the transfer portal, and I really think at a place like Washington or Oregon or UCLA under Chip Kelly, like, this man can still show off his talents. I really do believe that. But we'll see. We'll see where the road leads for DJU. As far as South Carolina goes, I think the difference in this game was special teams, man. I went back and watched the highlights, special teams, and then I don't remember if they won the turnover battle. I know Spencer had 2 picks. I can't remember if they won it 3-2, if it was 2-2. I know there was at least 2 turnovers by both teams, but they wanted it a little bit more, man. And shout out Shane Beamer. First time in program history, they've won back-to-back top 10 games, which obviously it's hard to schedule this far down the road, who's going to be in the top 10 back-to-back weeks, but it's not an easy job to do. I've heard rumors about Spencer Rattler entering the portal. I think it was all BS, but I've heard.
I think he will because Nebraska just got his old offense.
Yeah, that's what I've seen on Twitter as well. But let me just say this real quick, because I've heard this on ESPN, Barstool. Now I know Barstool Sports might not be the most reliable, but CBS Sports 24/7, that's a very reliable source, and on Fox with Joel Klatt. All these big name people. I'm just going to go ahead and make an announcement to anybody that watches the show. It's probably mainly Georgia fans, but I could be wrong. I don't know. Every week it could change. But don't be surprised whenever big name players like Brock Bowers, just for an example, I don't know if he is, or like for Florida, let's say Anthony Richardson, or Tennessee, let's say Jabari Small. These players enter the transfer portal. All it is to get more money for NIL. They're going to take whoever offers them the best NIL deal and guaranteed money. And they'll probably just come running right back because the university will take care of them, but it's just to get more money. So I'm letting everybody know, don't be scared. Now, some of them might actually leave, but most of them will end up coming back if they're big name. So just something to keep an eye on. That
would be terrible if freaking Georgia lost Brock Bowers.
Oh, I know. I don't don't even get me started on that. I would cry. But
I don't even want to think about that.
Well, back to these games. But yeah, shout out Shane Beamer. Back to these games. The lucky number was 38. You see Florida scored 38 right there and lost, but the next 3 games, the lucky number was 38 points to get to. Texas, inconsistent Texas. But hey, shout out to y'all, man. You have finished the year strong. I know you didn't quite make it to the Big 12 championship, but the future is bright in Austin as far as I can see. And this is definitely an improvement from last year. Last year, you only won 5 games. I think this year they've won 8.
But that still doesn't mean you can say you're back, because you're not back.
No, well, I think that I don't. I'm not getting on that soapbox. We're gonna have plenty of weeks upcoming leading up to the national championship for me to talk about stuff like this. Yeah. So we'll worry about that conversation later. Do you want to touch up on USC at all?
I mean, the only thing that I want to touch up on USC about is I definitely think that they should have beaten Notre. My thing is the thing that I'm uncertain about is USC's defense. I mean, yeah, Notre Dame's offense is rolling, but I don't think you should have allowed them to score 27 points if you want to compete in the if you want to go to the national championship and you stay where you are and you beat Utah and you want to go to the national championship, you can't. Your defense has to tighten up.
Yeah, I understand that, but man, their defense obviously does need to tighten up. They let up a lot of points, but I swear they always find ways to cause turnovers. They lead the league. They're like plus 22 in the turnover differential this year. It is crazy how many they have. But no, that's the thing is that, yeah, they might have that many turnovers, but they also give up a lot of points typically. Alex Grinch has gotten a lot of heat. I think this week is going to be a big week for him. I mean, we'll get more into the Pac-12 championship later, but I'll just go ahead and I think you'll agree with me. Congratulations to Caleb Williams on winning the Heisman Trophy. Well deserved. You're looking like a mini Mahomes out there, and you're going to be a special talent in the NFL in 2 years. So congratulations to you. You are a dog, and I'm looking forward to watching you see what you got in Vegas this week against Utah, and then potentially the college football playoff. Shout out Oregon State. Came back from a 24-7 or 30. No, it was 31-10 in the fourth quarter. Oregon State came all the way back from 31-10, and they didn't hardly throw the ball on. It was single digits the amount of times they threw the ball in the fourth quarter, and still came back by 3 touchdowns.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't get to watch the end of this Egg Bowl because I was on a 2-hour drive back from. Oh, hang on. Excuse me. From Thanksgiving. with my family, but sorry about that.
You're
I
good.
I did. I shouldn't say I didn't see the end. I saw the ending, but I didn't see like the third and fourth quarters. 2 hour drive, but shout out Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin, man. I don't know if you just had too much contract negotiations on your mind or what, but dude, it's crazy. 4 weeks ago, Ole Miss was ranked right outside the top 10, and now they are unranked. So,
Typical Ole Miss.
I mean, it's sad to say the most impressive one on your schedule is Troy.
Damn.
Look
That's
it
a
up, man.
shot.
No, just look it up. I'm not trying to take a shot. Just look it up. That's the most impressive one they have on their schedule. Mike Leach finishes 8-4, and that's all you need at Mississippi State, man. And you'll go play in the Outback Bowl or something. I don't know. Go have fun with that. And I always love seeing Mike Leach do good because he is the funniest college football coach on the planet. So,
Yes.
and well, I'll let you talk about your hometown Aggies.
Hey man, I told you A&M was gonna screw up LSU's season.
You did.
I mean, I always want to call him Zach Calzada, but he's not Zach Calzada. He's Connor Wegman. Connor Wegman looked like an absolute, he looked like he deserved to be at A&M, and putting up 38 points on this LSU defense is pretty good. And if A&M can keep rolling like that next year, this is a great example on what you need to do to be successful.
Yeah, LSU played like crap offensively mainly, but defensively as well. I mean, this is the first time since before Halloween of last year that Texas A&M has scored over 30 points. That is sad. That is absolutely sad. And I will say, shout out to the fans at Kyle Field. Your team is in the trench, the toilet, whatever you want to call it.
And you
And
still
that place
showed
was
up.
packed and it was loud. And the boys brought home a win. So
Yeah, but I still hate them.
here's the thing. They could have been doing this all year long. It's been there. And now it's like you've seen it. And now you just got to repeat it. I just hope this win and the success they had on the field this past Saturday doesn't make Jimbo Fisher start to think or, have his mind be wired the wrong way to think he doesn't need to hire an offensive coordinator.
Because he does.
Because he does. He does. At the end of the day,
sure.
he does. But that's all I got on that one. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nothing much. But A&M, just muscle memory. Find what you did in that game and keep doing it, because if you keep doing it, you're going to be successful. I don't want you to be successful, but it's good to have a Texas team in the SEC that you can root for every once in a while. So,
yep. And then Alabama crushed their rival, the Auburn Tigers. Shout out Cadillac Williams.
22 was push.
Yeah, 22 was a push. We both got a point for it. So, for as far as our standings go and our points game we got going, Jameson Deering, I know you're listening to this. You told me when the line came out for this game to take under 51 points, and then your boys went out there and almost hammered the over by themselves. So, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just messing with you, though. Bryce Young, Will Anderson, last game they will ever play in Bryant-Denny Stadium on Senior Day. Got the win over Auburn. They both had pretty great careers. Bryce Young is going to be the number one pick, more than likely, to the Houston Texans.
Absolutely. I hope not.
Yeah.
No, I hope we get now. Will Anderson, I wouldn't be too mad about. But if we
don't want a quarterback,
no, because I say you wait and you draft Hendon Hooker later, because he's gonna fall.
Yeah, he is gonna fall. We'll see. Or tank again next year and get Caleb Williams.
What's up?
Tank again next year and get Caleb Williams.
Yeah, just play Kyle Allen the entire year. Sit Davis Mills.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Bryce Young will be off the board to the Houston Texans come April. But Auburn,
I'm saying this right now on record. If Bryce Young goes to the Houston Texans, I will never root for the Texans ever again.
That is selfish. That is just absolutely absurd. If I was a fan, I don't have a favorite NFL team, but if I was a Houston Texans fan, I'd be so happy to get Bryce Young. He's the greatest
He's not going to be
quarterback
anything in the
to
NFL.
ever play. I'd still be excited to get him, whether I think that or not. Anyways, back to the show. We're not here to talk about the NFL yet.
Yeah,
Maybe come playoff
teaser,
time, we'll do a
teaser for
little.
y'all.
Yeah, there we go. We'll just leave it at that. But we're gonna next week and the next following weeks, we're gonna do a show wherever we're gonna talk about coaching hires and stuff like that while all the nitty gritty bowl games are going on. But I will just say congratulations to Hugh Freeze on getting hired by Auburn. So I think that was actually not that bad of a hire as far as football wise goes. Now, off the field stuff, I mean, I really don't care about because I'm just here to cover football. So congratulations to Hugh Freeze on getting the Auburn job.
I'm not going to judge what you do in your free time because I don't want anybody judging what I do in my free time. So
that's right.
You do you, and I'm going to do me. But.
Yep. But that'll do it for the rivalry week recap. It did not disappoint. Last week, the regular season. Man, it's gone by too fast. So I'm going to really try and enjoy all these Maction Bowl games we got coming on in the middle of December. So don't think I won't be watching and betting on the Bahamas Bowl now. Come on.
Okay.
All right.
Football outlook.
The last week we will have the college football outlook on the show because Sunday we know who's going to be in the playoffs and where they're going to be seated at. So we've changed the whole thing. It's no longer, contenders, undefeated, and now it's just simple. Georgia and Michigan, they could lose their championship games by 50 points on Saturday, and they both still going to get in. And now you have, you know what? I'm going to get to TCU last because they're the most complicated situation. They're probably the most I'm going to have to speak on. Win out, pretty simple. USC, all you have to do is win on Saturday or Friday night. Actually, the entire world is going to be watching your team play because you're the biggest game on Friday. Playing in the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium against Utah in a rematch that you lost earlier in the year, you can avenge that win. And USC, man, you went out, you're in. It's pretty simple. You lose, you're not going to get in. So there's that. And then you obviously have Ohio State, who lost to Michigan this week. They are now ranked number 5. They are just praying for a USC loss or possibly, I don't know, but possibly a TCU loss. We'll get to TCU in a second, but they need for sure somebody to lose in order to hop in. If the top 4 teams went out, they're all in, and then or you really just need either TCU or USC to lose. And then you got Alabama, which they're Alabama, so that's why I put them on here. They would 100% need USC and TCU. They need TCU to get blown out.
Yes.
Like I'm talking like
30 balls.
42-7 type of blown out. And then they still might all right, I'll just go ahead and get the TCU. Here's the thing. In my personal opinion, they are undefeated. They should be rewarded by being in the locked-in section with Georgia and Michigan. But me and you both know that's not the case.
Yeah.
They are still on the bubble. There's a chance. There's some people saying that even with a loss, they can still get in because they've already proved that they can beat Kansas State. But here's my thing on it. TCU should not get punished for going 12-0 in the regular season. They're playing a team they've already played once earlier in the year. And now they have to play an extra game on Saturday. And if they lose, you're trying to tell me after nobody's been able to prove that they can beat them all year. And if a team beats them on Saturday, they've already played because it's hard to beat a team twice unless you're 2-loss Utah, that they're going to just get bumped out because they're TCU and they're not, Georgia or Michigan.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that's the only reason is because they have the name TCU.
I agree.
Yeah, it's BS.
Now I understand that, yeah, they haven't had the most convincing wins. And look, I've been talking to my friend. Am I lagging, by the way?
No, you're good now.
Okay, because I saw the little network thing popping up in my corner, and I apologize if I do start to lag again. You can just tell me to be quiet for a second. You can talk. But disregard that. Back to what I was saying. So, I mean, my friend Jameson and I swear, him being diehard Alabama, me being diehard Georgia, we go back and forth, and I've come out and had some outlandish takes, and we might not always agree on everything, but I mean, I do think, and like, I understand where he's come from. Like, yeah, TCU's not as good as Alabama, which, you know what, talent wise, they're probably not, but they've earned it. That's just my whole thing, is that they've earned it. They've won their games. And I promise this is not specifically a shot at Alabama. I'm just saying, like, as far as common opponents goes, TCU and Alabama both played Texas at Texas. TCU won way more convincingly than Alabama won. And they played Texas when they had Quinn Ewers. Alabama did not. And that was not a shot at Alabama. I'm just saying that's kind of stuff you have to look at too.
That's a good point. I forgot Alabama played Texas this year.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah. So in my opinion, I think if TCU, even if they lose, they should get in. I think they should be a lock, just like Georgia and Michigan are. But it's because they're TCU and they do play in a Big 12, which has actually been a pretty solid conference this year that, you know, despite a loss, depending on what the committee decides to do, they might decide to have all-out chaos. I mean, there's still a world where, as far as TV ratings go, USC loses, TCU loses, and they just say screw it, and they put Alabama and Ohio State in there for brand awareness and for money and all that. Do I think it'll happen? No, I don't. But I'm just saying there is a world where that happens. So that's about that was my little rant, my little explanation for what I had to say about that.
If TCU wins this weekend and they play Michigan,
I think it's closer than people think. I don't think
TCU
wins. I don't think TCU will win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer, and they're going to prove why they should have been in the playoff.
I agree.
Now, if TCU plays Georgia, that's a different story. Yeah, I'm not saying that as Georgia. Football's all about matchups. Like, I think if USC plays Georgia, it's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah, I agree too. Because
it's going to be a lot closer if USC
Georgia has always struggled. Like, you've said it, and when you said it, I was like, that's so true. Georgia struggles with a mobile quarterback.
They have in years past, yes.
Yeah, but my thing is their defense has to go up against Stead every day. So maybe they've straightened up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll worry about that when the time comes. But just go ahead. We'll just go ahead and predict Georgia and Michigan to win. They'll be 1-2, and then after that is pure chaos. But imagine a world, Jansen, thought about this today. Georgia and Michigan both lose and TCU wins. TCU would be the number 1 team in the college football playoff.
That would be insane. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Actually, I don't know if they'd make them number 1.
If Georgia and Michigan lose, TCU would be the only 13-0 conference champion. You try to tell me they wouldn't put them at number 1? Come on, man.
Because for a long time, they had Alabama above them with a 1 loss. Or they had people above them that had a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see. But that's kind of what we got going on. Outsiders looking in, little contenders for the playoff. This is the last week. Next week, it will be who's in and who's not.
Yep.
Who will be going to Glensdale, Arizona? Who will be going to Atlanta, Georgia?
Who's going dancing?
And who will be sitting on the couch or opting out to go to the NFL draft? So
it's going to be CJ Stroud, I'll tell you that much. But, all right.
I hope so.
Well, let's talk about this week.
Yes, sir.
Our points. Look at that. Talk about a comeback.
You've came all the way back. But you know what, bud? It's not over.
I know. I told you I'm climbing that mountain. I ain't to the top yet.
It's not over until January 9th. So, and we still got Bowl Mania, bud.
Oh, I forgot about.
We still got Bowl Mania. Yeah. That's just I am not tracking all that. Thank God there's an app for that. That we're gonna, whenever that comes out on Sunday, when all the bowl games are announced, we will invite our listeners to join us in our Bowl Mania bracket we got just for fun. So
make a little league.
Yep. But yeah, congratulations. You have a 1-point lead.
Thanks,
I
brother.
feel like Curry in the finals. I blew a 3-1 lead. Oh man.
All right, man.
Let's do it. It is
My wife
conference. Is she not transferring over?
There we go.
All right, there we go. It is conference championship weekend, people. Yep, ACC, Big 12, Big 10, Pac 12. We'll talk about the SEC on the next slide. So I guess I'll hop right on into it, man. We have the ACC championship and the who cares, because both of these teams are going to be playing in pointless bowl games,
The Duke's
championship
Mayo
game.
Bowl.
Yep. This is essentially just the Duke's Mayo Bowl, except, you take one of these teams out and put an SEC team in there, and boom, Duke's Mayo Bowl. So, the winner of this, I'm sure, will go to the Orange Bowl or whatnot, and who knows. But number 9, ranked Clemson. How they only fell one spot, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, wait, it's because they're playing on ESPN on Saturday night, in a game that nobody's going to be watching because everybody's going to be tuned in to watch a good football team on Fox, and number 2, Michigan. Besides the point, they couldn't have a non-top 10 team on their own network, right? So we're going to put Clemson at number 9. They're 7.5-point favorites. This line has jumped down from, I think it opened up at 9 2 weeks ago, and now it's down to 7.5. I'm sure it's going to continue to climb down because North Carolina is actually pretty solid. Here's the thing. North Carolina's offense has been down the past few weeks. So is Clemson's defense, but North Carolina's offense overall, they got Drake May. He's an absolute dog, and Clemson's defense has been down. North Carolina's defense is absolutely dog water. It might be the worst in the entire NCAA, but Clemson's offense is absolute dog water. It is probably one of the worst in the ACC behind Virginia and Virginia Tech. So the matchups are all there for both teams to be successful. So who prevails in the end of the day, Jance?
North Carolina.
You pick them to win outright?
No, I'm picking them to cover 7.5. But I think
Oh,
because here's my thing is if DJU plays like he did last week, North Carolina is going to beat these guys.
yep.
But
I agree.
I don't see that happening because, like we said, Clemson's inconsistent, up and down, up and down, up and down. They had their down, now they're going to go back up. So I think North Carolina is going to cover those 7.5, but I think Clemson's going to win outright in a very, very close last second play kind of game. You're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Am I lagging?
No, you're good.
Because my stream just cut off completely, and you're in and out. So I hope that's not affecting anything.
It's not. You're good. You're clear on my end. So.
All right, that's all that matters. If you think I'm clear, I'm clear.
No, you're clear.
I got UNC covering 7.5. I don't think that Clemson has been playing to the caliber where they're a touchdown better week in and week out. Would I be surprised if Clemson covered 7.5? No, North Carolina's been playing really down. It feels like teams have picked up on their offense as the year's gone on. So I don't know. Will Drake may be able to get it done? Dabo's been there before, man. The staff's been there before. Most of these players have been there before. I mean, you don't win 7 ACC championships in a row and just forget how to do it because your team had a down year. They are 10-2. They do find ways. I am going to pick Clemson to win the game, but I will pick UNC to cover 7.5 points.
But don't be surprised if Drake May lights up this defense and North Carolina beats Clemson.
Not
Mac
one
Brown's
bit.
going to have these boys fired up. So
That's right.
Yep.
Next, we got a game at 12 o'clock on Saturday afternoon in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Jerry World. Number 3, TCU Horned Frogs, 2.5-point favorites, hosting the visiting team, the Kansas State Wildcats, in the Battle of the Purples. Who you got?
Man, I'm going to take TCU minus 2.5, but the only reason I'm doing it is because Adrian Martinez is still not healthy and they don't know if he's going to play. I think if Adrian Martinez is healthy, because I looked today and it is a game time decision.
Will
and if
Howard's
they pull
playing.
What's up?
Will Howard's going to play. I don't
Okay.
think Martinez will play.
Then, yeah, I'm going to take TCU minus 2.5. I think they win by touchdown to 10 points. So
Yeah, I mean, this
But-
is one of TCU's, what was it, 5, 6? I think they've had 6, maybe 5 comeback wins where they've been trailing going into the fourth quarter or halftime.
the last time they
Right.
played them, they were down and then they came back.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's why I think if Adrian Martinez plays, they'll beat them.
yeah. No,
So-
I think it's all said but done and confirmed that Will Howard is going to start for the Wildcats. I'm going to take Max Duggan and Sonny Dykes and the boys, man. I mean, everybody's been picking against TCU, and heck, this might be the week that they find their destiny run comes to an end. But until I see it happen with my own eyes, I'm not going to pick against them, man.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing with them is, if they were gonna get beat, they would have gotten beat by Baylor or Texas or somebody in the last couple weeks. But they aren't gonna lose against Kansas State, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And I really do think TCU is going to win. I think they cover 2.5 points. And here's the thing: if TCU is down by 2 touchdowns at halftime, I really am not going to care because their identity is coming back and winning the games late. That is how TCU wins football games. That is just how they play. So, anybody that wants to freak out during halftime if they're losing by 2 or 3 possessions, don't. That is how TCU plays football. I mean, these games are always exciting to watch. I'm taking the Frogs. I'm laying the 2.5. I think Sonny Dykes gets it done in year 1 as the head coach of the TCU Horned Frogs.
You
I think they make
to
the college
freaking
football
playoff.
Absolutely.
How about it, Sonny Dykes?
How about it, man?
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to take our attentions to Indianapolis, where we're going to watch the number 2 ranked Ohio State Big Brother Michigan Wolverines, 16.5 point favorites, taking on the Fighting Drew Breeses of the Purdue Boilermakers. So Aiden O'Connell's pretty solid QB, man. And Purdue, obviously they're nothing special. They're not ranked. I think, what are they, 8-4? I think they're 8-4. No, they are definitely 8-4. The Big Ten West was a cluster this year. We all knew that. Nobody knew who was going to win it. I think at the beginning of the year I had Minnesota, which they had a shot there for a minute, but fell off. And you had Wisconsin, who they just hired Luke Fickell. So
that's a great hire.
Great hire. We will be doing an episode on stuff like that. But yeah, man. Michigan is 16.5 point favorites. I'm going to lay the 16.5. We saw this last year. Dominating win against Ohio State, went to the Big Ten championship. Everybody's like, oh, man, they're going to have a fall off. And they go into Indianapolis and absolutely beat the brakes off of Iowa last year. I think the same thing happens. I would not be surprised if Purdue kept this close for about a quarter and a half, maybe even till halftime. Then I think in the second half, Michigan's going to blow them out of the water. But here's a little fun fact.
They're going to run the ball just all over them.
Jeff Brom, the Purdue head coach since his time at Purdue, is 3-0 against top 3 opponents. Just a little something to think about there.
Don't tell me that.
Nah, I'm still confident in Michigan, Harbaugh. I mean, I don't think anybody's built like them. I think they're going to win in pretty convincing fashion and be back-to-back years in the college football playoff, man. And I think they'll be heading to Glensdale, Arizona to take on the Frogs. I'm just going to give my playoff predictions as we go through this. So, all right. So, last game on this slide, we're heading to Vegas. Number 4 ranked USC Trojans, 3-point favorites, hosting the 11th ranked Utah Utes. Earlier in the season, these two teams played, and Utah won 45-44, I believe, or 44-43. I can't remember the exact final score, 43-42, something like that, somewhere in that area. I know both teams had 40. And it was literally with 5 seconds left, Utah scores a touchdown, goes for 2, and gets it. So it came down to the wire, and I really don't see this game being a whole lot different than that. I think this game will come down to a one-possession game again. Utah has lost – all the games that they have lost, I should say, have been on the road, so they're not going to be at home. USC did lose that game in Utah. Caleb Williams and the offense are peaking at the correct time. They're playing their best ball right now. And with all that being said, and Williams, with all the confidence he has, I think he's the front runner for the Heisman if we stand, if the season ended today. As long as the defense can just hold off just 1 or 2, 3 possessions enough, I think the USC offense might be just a little too much with how good they're playing and how the flow's going and their confidence, and they're going to treat this game like they're playing for the national championship. I'm taking the Trojans. I'm laying the 3 points, and I think they will be the 4th seed in the college football playoff. Don't mock me over there, boy. You called UCLA University of Central Los Angeles last week, bro.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. I had a brain fart. Okay.
Go ahead.
But, all right. I'm going to disappoint you here, and I'm going to disappoint a lot of our listeners. Love you, Caleb Williams.
Hang on.
Riley.
Before you start, I just want to give credit to both of us. This is the only conference championship game we both predicted right. We both had USC versus Utah in the Pac-12 championship.
Hey, look,
give it up for us.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. We definitely did not have – I had Clemson in the ACC championship.
I did as well.
And I think that's the only one on this slide.
And I
did not have TCU or Kansas State.
I did not have TCU or Michigan.
I did not have Michigan. I did not have Purdue.
We both had Texas Baylor in the Big 12.
No, I had Baylor and Oklahoma
State. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had Miami and Clemson.
Miami and
Clemson.
And
I had Ohio State and Minnesota. But we both had USC, Utah. Sorry, it just hit me. We both got this one right before you went into your whole Utah spill. So go ahead, brother. I'll let you go.
I see. No, you just don't want me to get my Utah spill. I get it because you don't want me to look like a fool.
I had them in the playoff.
I'm going to look like a fool anyways. I'm taking Utah to freaking win outright. People are going to say Utah can't beat them twice in 1 year. Well, you watch this game Friday night. They're going to show you that they can beat this team twice in 1 year. Utah, man, every year at the end of the year, y'all just ball out. And that one little hiccup game y'all had against, refresh my memory.
They lost to UCLA. They lost to Oregon. They lost to Florida in game 1.
It was UCLA.
Yeah, that was their big hiccup game. I don't think they would have lost to Oregon if they wouldn't have lost to UCLA.
No, but I think Utah is going to come to this game thinking, why don't we ruin these guys' season, just like A&M was thinking about.
And I can see it. Whittingham's got them boys playing good. They're usually a physical team. They always play good down the stretch. I'm not ruling it out of the picture, man. I really think USC gets it done, man. It's hard to beat a team twice. Now, I know Utah did it last year with Oregon. I know that. Everybody knows how to do it.
To be safe, I'm going to lay the +3 on Utah, but I'm going on record. Utah's beating USC, and I'm going to put money on it.
There you go. Hey, man, I respect it.
Because here's another thing is –
yeah, go ahead.
You're going to have some kind of – this year has been so chaotic. You're going to have some kind of chaos this week.
It could happen.
And I think USC is –
the writing is on the wall for it to happen, needless to say. So.
Yep. But that's my spill about Utah. Give me the Utes, baby. Hopefully this is going to be a great game. It's going to be an absolute thriller, but it'll be fun. But all right, let's get into the national
game
championship.
Of the week. Whoa. This is
not the national championship.
Calm down.
I know.
Calm down. Shocker. We all knew it was coming. Going for 2-pod game of the week. Dang, excuse me. This monster's giving me a little burping. Number 14th ranked LSU Tigers. The Tigers. Go Tigers. Taking on the home team, literally because they had a better record and they're in the East, and because they're playing in Atlanta. The number 1 defending champion, Georgia Bulldogs. This line started out at 13.5 points 2 weeks ago. The best number you can get it at now is 17.5. It's already gone up to 18.5 at some places. And before kickoff, I would not be surprised by the way this thing is moving up. It will be at 20, just based on how fast this thing is growing. Everybody's on Georgia. Georgia finished season 12-0. Had top 10 overall offense and defense this year. LSU, surprising team this year. I had them going 7-5, 6-6. Brian Kelly showing out in year 1 at LSU, raising the standard for year 1 coaches, man. beat Alabama, did get boat raced by Tennessee at home, did lose to A&M away. That was, I think, at the end of the day, that was probably more of a look-ahead spot than anything else. Jaden Daniels is questionable for this game. Looked that up before this recording started. Who else? And then, week 1, they lost to Florida State in the Superdome on a missed extra point. So that's kind of the outlook here. So let's hop right on into who we got and why. I'll let you kick it off, bud.
All right. I got Georgia beating LSU big. LSU, I mean, they beat Alabama, but if that game was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama would have won. I don't know. Like, I don't think LSU, I mean, you've seen they got beat by A&M. They got boat raced by Tennessee, and they barely beat Arkansas with a third-string quarterback. I don't think they are I don't think they should be viewed as a very high-powered team. Like, yeah, they have had some good games this season, but I just don't see them beating Georgia at all because, playing Alabama was a handful for y'all, but I mean, you look at Alabama and you look at Georgia this year. Alabama's down here and Georgia's way up here. Like, and I think this offense is going to be an offense that they haven't seen yet because we got all different types of weapons you have to worry about. And with Alabama, their only offensive weapon is Bryce Young because, I mean, and Jahmyr Gibbs. But if you can handle those two guys, then you can handle their team because their wide receiver core isn't that strong this year. But yeah, I'm going to take Georgia minus 17.5, and they're going to win 41-14.
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here, but come on, man. You're making Georgia fans look stupid. Our wide receiver core sucks too. We're not.
I feel like our wide receiver core is better than Alabama's.
I do not think it's better than Alabama's.
I think it is.
I think they're similar. I don't think there's actually one that's better than the other. I think the thing that separates Georgia as far as throwing the ball is that they have Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I don't think either team has that speed threat that can just take you down the field and extend the play like Tennessee does and Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah. You kind of have that with, but he's hurt. He's not playing.
Who? AD Mitchell.
AD Mitchell.
Yeah, he's not too bad. Arian Smith ain't either, but I don't know. I just consistently this year, I think they're about the same. But I mean, this is not about Alabama. I'm not even going to compare that because Georgia hasn't even played Bama this year, so I'm not going to compare how LSU did against Alabama to decipher this game.
Play against Georgia, yeah.
Yeah. So,
shut up.
Oh, you're good. I got Georgia winning 31-17. They're not going to cover 17.5 points. Now, obviously, I would not be surprised if that's the case. So far this year, whenever the games have mattered most, like week 1 against Oregon, blew them out in Atlanta. And then the next biggest game of the year, Tennessee, Georgia was 3rd, Tennessee won, and that game, yes, I think it was only a 13 or 14-point victory, but anybody that watched that game knows that game was a blowout, and the score does not reflect how bad Tennessee got beat that game. So Georgia does show up in big games. Now, the past few weeks against Kentucky, against Georgia Tech, they have not been too flashy. In the first half against Mississippi State, they just haven't proved to me that they can cover 17.5 points against LSU.
I mean, man, you heard what Kirby said.
What?
Their job in games.
Their job is to win the game.
Yeah, their job is to win the game.
Yeah, I know, and I think Georgia's going to win. I think they can easily win this game.
Yeah,
14 points. I just don't.
Game.
I think, especially if Jaden Daniels does play. Now, if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, and that backup comes in, what's his name? Nussmeier, I believe. I can't remember what his. Yeah,
I don't know what his name is.
I think it's Nussmeier is his the backup's name. But if he comes in, man, nobody's seen him play all year, and we know how Georgia plays against backup quarterbacks in the SEC championship. So, shout out Tua and Jalen Hurts. But I know Tua was the national championship, but same difference.
That was the birth of Tua.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see. I think Georgia can win this game pretty convincingly. They can win it anywhere from, they could blow out LSU. I wouldn't be surprised, but just based off the team I've seen play the past 2.5, 3 weeks, and then LSU, this is a bounce back spot. I think they're going to try and keep it competitive, but at the end of the day, I do take Georgia 31-17, 14-point win, and 2022 SEC champions, and they will be the number 1 seed in the college football playoff, and they'll play back-to-back games in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Falcons, because they'll be hosting the Peach Bowl to USC. That is my prediction. I just think Georgia's too physical at the end of the day. I think they got too many dogs, no pun intended. Harold Perkins will be something to be reckoned with, but I mean, like I said, I feel like the offensive line will play good enough. I think Stetson Bennett will play good enough. And I think, this game might be close at halftime. We might even be down at halftime, but we'll pull away and just, the ground and pound at the end of the day. And, little Brock Bowers there, little Lad McConkey there, and they'll get it done. They'll get it done. But, I mean, Jane Daniels being questionable is huge on as far as betting this game goes. So nobody knows if he's going to play. I think he will end up playing. So 31-17, comfortable win for Georgia as they head into the playoffs.
I like it. Well, it's going to be a fun weekend.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But all right. What we got next? Oh, Bearder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, we didn't have it last week. Bearder doesn't travel. He stays here in Milledgeville. I was back at home last weekend, but he's right there. And we've been riding the wave all year. Once again, no pun intended. They've only not covered in 2 or 3 games. They are playing in the AAC championship against UCF. They played UCF. We talked about it on the show. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. 4
got
weeks
the stats
ago.
right there.
Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks ago. They lost. They're playing at home again. Especially in that short period of time and whatnot, I think, Tulane, that's going to be the Bearder pick of the week. He's taking the wave to cover, and they will be going to play against some big school in a New Year's Six Bowl. They'll be the best group of 5 team this year, so
BDP.
that'll be interesting. But Tulane -3, book it, man.
I like it. But
wow.
you might see another double loss, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Tulane takes it this time.
I think they take it as well.
The chip.
But I think that as far as it goes for football this week, I know you might want to go ahead and show the next slide. So next week, special guest, current Stanford quarterback, Ashton Daniels. I went to high school. Actually, I just grew up with him through school and through rec league. And I actually never went to the same high school as him, but we've always been pretty solid friends. I've been talking to him. Coach Shaw at Stanford just resigned and stepped down as their head coach. So we'll see where the future goes. That'll be a nice point of interest next week when we have him on. I'm excited to have him. But he'll be on next week. We're going to talk about, the playoff and all that. And then we're going to just do a little sit-down talk with Ashton, interview him a little bit and see how his experience was up there in Northern California. So
that's going to be dope. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I'm excited.
Me as well. We're looking forward to it. But I think that does it for us today. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Short episode, well, an hour. That's where we like to keep it at. Yeah. Sometimes we go a little bit over, but anything else you'd like to add, brother?
Not much other than go Dogs, baby.
Yeah, go Dogs. We haven't won the SEC championship since 2017. So here's the thing.
Hey, hang on. I got to point something out.
Yeah.
The Astros won the World Series in 2017. The Georgia Bulldogs won the SEC championship in 2017.
But they didn't win the Natty. They made it there, but they didn't.
We are talking about the Natty. That's a different topic. But Astros won this year. I think it's destined. I think it's written in the script. So
I hope so. But man, I was gonna point something out. Now I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry. I didn't mean
I blanked out. No, it's all good. Finish us out. You good?
You want me to finish this out?
Finish us out. I mean, I'll finish it out if you want me to.
I mean, yeah, I'll finish it out. Well, everybody, we need one more subscriber to hit our goal for the year. We would greatly appreciate it if you share our podcast with your aunts, your uncles, your grandma's friends, your grandma's grandma, and your dog's friends, and your everybody that you can think of. We greatly appreciate it. We thank every single one of y'all.
I remember what I was
Tune
going to
in.
say now.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So, no, so my dad offered me, he wanted to know if I want to go to the SEC championship game or whatnot, because we always go. We always go. We've gone every year that the Georgia's made it. It's just been our thing. We have the season tickets, and we always go to the SEC championship because it's in Atlanta. And we both came to the realization that every time we show up, we're 1-4. We were there in 2017 when they beat Auburn.
Yeah, stay your ass at home.
And then we lost twice to
Excuse me,
Alabama,
but-
lost to LSU, and I think there was one time before we beat Auburn that we were there and we lost. Maybe 2012. I can't remember. No, it wasn't 2012 because I remember watching that one on TV. But we were there. We're 1-4 at the SEC championship. So we are taking the one for the team. We're not going, no matter what the situation is. We're bad luck. Hopefully we'll be able to go to the Peach Bowl or something like that. But we are sitting out the SEC championship this year, so I'll be watching that one on the TV screen. I'm looking forward to it, though. It's going to be a great week of college football. It's the last week before bowl season and playoff season, man. But yeah, one more subscriber for 50. Go tell your mama's mama, your neighbor's dog, whatever you got to do. And man, it's always a pleasure to do this with you, buddy.
We greatly appreciate each and every one of you for grinding it out with us this year. No, it went by quick, but we
don't believe in the off season. We'll
we
still
don't
be
believe
on.
in
It
it.
might not be every week, but we'll still be on throughout, the course of the year until college football comes back.
Yep. Just
So,
whenever we get like breaking news or something that we
yeah,
gotta address.
we have a few things planned, but that's about all I got. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the bell if you know how to do that. It's not very complicated. Hit the subscribe button as always. Share the word, spread the word, whatever you gotta do. And God first. God bless you all. We're very appreciative.
Yes,
Thank
we
you all.
are. Thank y'all.